Happy Friday! Welcome to Screen Junkies. You know what this is. It's time for Spencer GIlbert. I don't know what just happened there, but I'm excited today because I think we're going to have a fun show. We have a lot of great things for you. We already have a cat who has joined us. Sarah is on the panel today with Joe Starr. Thank you, Sarah.
A lot of thoughts.
Yeah, a lot of thoughts about Comic-Con, a lot of thoughts about AMC and theatrical experience. Sarah's going to be bringing a good amount of insight to us today. We've got Spencer GIlbert sitting above me, as always, casting judgments.
Yes, look to me, for I am your father.
Oh, that's okay. Dan Murrell!
Hello.
Yay!
How's it going?
Very, very good. Happy to see your face today. We're going to have a good show, but let's get into it right away. Breaking news, and if we had a breaking news graphic, it would be like...
It should just be Billy bursting through a wall.
Yeah, it used to be, remember? Billy Business, breaking news. Billy's breaking news. Here it goes. Just before we went live today, it was officially announced that San Diego Comic-Con is canceled in 2020. Now, of course, this doesn't come as a huge surprise to any of us. We had speculated that they were waiting to essentially be forced so that they could get the insurance, recoup the insurance. We don't know if that's the case, but generally thoughts, feelings. It's weird. It's like surprise. It's like shocking, but not surprising.
That didn't work.
Nope, that's terrifying. Look for Sarah.
Yeah, I mean, I think Roth, you brought this point up a couple times. Is the concept that it wasn't that they were necessarily thinking it was going to happen. They just needed the proper guidelines to be put in place that would force a cancellation. And, according to even their press release, yesterday's guidance from the governor here in California that basically said that public gatherings are not going to be a good idea at any time in the near future, including the summer, may have given them the runway they needed to say, like, okay, this is an obvious, for insurance purposes or whatever else, we obviously had to cancel it at this point.
Yeah, well, you would hope, because it's a massive loss, both for the event for Comic-Con, but also for San Diego, as we know. And that actually, the timing of that is going to tie into Sarah. Did you have because it feels to me like she's trying to communicate with us right now.
What do you want? What do you got?
She's out.
Yeah.
She's bummed. She was who's she gonna cosplay as this year, Joe?
Harley Quinn. She's not very creative.
Yeah, she's a basic bitch, but she's cute as shit.
She does like going to San Diego and partying at the different cons, though. Not just Comic-Con, like when the dentists get together, when the orthopedic surgeons get together, when the biofuturists get together. Like, she likes just crashing those things, and so she's got a pretty open dance card this summer now.
Oh man, Sarah, we'll have to get you some virtual activities to do, like this one right now. I encourage you to continue to join us on our programming. All animals are welcome here on SJU. This actually ties into our next story. Oh my God. It's just killing me right now. This ties into our next story. This is a little bit about AMC and the theatrical experience, and actually gives us a little bit of insight about how long they foresee the theatrical closures lasting. Pardon me, ladies and gentlemen. Cash-strapped AMC Entertainment on Thursday said it's going to raise $500 million in new debt to bolster its balance sheet liquidity. What does that mean? This is via THR. Basically, they're trying to get more money in debt in order to sustain them for the period of time that the theaters are closed. Quote, AMC intends to use the net proceeds from this offering for general corporate purposes, including further increasing AMC's liquidity. Now, they've furloughed, I think, pretty much 600 people in their corporate offices already during the closures. This is unprecedented for them, as we know, and they are literally not making any money right now, but they still have to pay, I think, $250 million in rent just on the theaters. So that's why they're trying to get this money. They say they believe the current cash balance is sufficient, and this is what's notable, the timing on this, to withstand a global suspension of operations until a partial reopening in July, going to what Gavin Newsom said. After giving effect the proposed notes offering, we believe the company will have sufficient liquidity to withstand a global suspension of operations until a partial reopening ahead of Thanksgiving. So they're potentially looking at being closed as far as Thanksgiving. We've talked about the A, B, C, D scenarios of this virus and reopening, sort of bringing us back to normalcy. There's one version of this where we go back hopefully sometime in June and July. Sarah's going to have some thoughts on the economics of that. And Dan is going to have some thoughts on, there's another version of this where there's kind of a push. It's fits and starts. Things go back and then we go home again if there's a re-outbreak, and then we go back and we go home again if there's a re-outbreak, basically until almost 2022 potentially, when there's enough testing and the vaccine. But Dan Murrell, what do you think about that potentially November?
I mean, they have to plan for that because there's so much that's up in the air right now. And I think that's what's becoming, I'd say that we are entering maybe phase 2 of this whole thing, at least here in the North America or in the US, because we're now starting to see like, well, what's it going to be like after this first wave has passed? And I think AMC is seeing now that there's no really clear cut roadmap to what's going to happen. So they have to plan for this. I was reading that, even if they raise this $500 million, this isn't a gift. Like, they're going to come, not only are they going to come back having lost all of the money that they would have made this part of the year, but they're going to come back potentially in an extra $500 million of debt, which means that even if they get this liquidity, that's not the end of the road for the company. They also, in that same press release, cited the fact that studios have started to skip the theatrical release or shorten it as a factor in why they need this money. So this is, they're the biggest theater chain in North America. I think this is a real kind of canary in the coal mine as far as what they see the future of exhibition to be, which is one that is potentially for them, they're planning for the possibility that they're not open till Thanksgiving. Number two, they're planning for the possibility that their business may never return to the same numbers that it did. That's something else I think they said. They said, we don't know when or if our former business, the former revenue is going to return. So they're planning as a company in the short term to be closed potentially till November, but in the long term for this to change their financials forever.
Yeah, and that rent alone is so substantial. So you have to think that they're looking at scenarios in which they are rethinking how theaters function. Is there a way to deal with theatrical experience with seats far enough apart to have social distancing? Are they thinking of shuttering certain theaters so they don't have to sustain the rent that they're paying to have a smaller imprint in certain markets? They've got to be thinking through all of this right now. But I think it speaks to something we're all thinking about, which is just, what does life in general look like? Is there truly a return to normal within the next 6 months, 1 year, 2 years? Does that even exist? Sarah, it feels to me like you have some thoughts on that.
Well, you're actually seeing the quarantine power struggle shift in the cat's favor in real time right now, as she just bites me throughout this. I don't know if this is a bigger question for us, but I feel like we see companies like AMC like grinding to a halt so quickly. After the shutdown, we saw so many companies kind of go, oh well, in 2 weeks if we don't continue our revenue flow, we're screwed. I wonder, in the restructuring and rethinking for companies like AMC and Disney, are we going to see that reflected? It's like, yeah, we're green on this book, but also in case of a year-long shutdown, are companies going to have to start really planning for that kind of thing?
Spencer, yeah, that's a great question. And it's something that's come up around supply chains as well, because the way supply chains had been functioning was very immediate, in the sense of, you take one roll of Bounty off the shelf, the manufacturer gets an alert that one roll of Bounty has been taken, and here's one Bounty to replace it. So there hasn't been a lot of sustainable stockpiles of things in terms of supply chain, but that's happened in terms of revenue for particularly the airline industry, right? They had no buffer at all for in case of an emergency. So I do think that radically a lot of things are going to have to be thought of differently. Spencer, I know that you love to talk about the business of supply chains.
Oh, I do. Well, I don't know. I think it is these days standard business practice, or whatever that means, to not hold on to cash if you're a big company and you have money like you're expected to spend it to grow or give yourself a raise or stock buybacks or dividends and stuff like that. So this is coming back to bite us. I don't know, though. I think people are going to look at this as like a once in a lifetime event, though, and learn nothing.
Okay, Dan Murrell.
Oh, sorry. The one thing that with AMC specifically that I'm curious about is, and we don't have access to those numbers, but AMC does. I'm curious what the financials look like on AMC A-List and whether that was a long-term play or whether that was immediately paying dividends. We speculated on the show that if people are using it like they should, then AMC should be making a little bit of money. But I wonder when they come back if they're in need of making the maximum amount of money possible. If AMC A-List is something that was more of a long-term play for a new market, I wonder if they are going to revisit that and say, like, you know what, we're going to do right by our current subscribers, but if that's not immediately generating revenue, or if they think that something like that is going to generate less revenue than just a one ticket, one movie model, I wonder if that's something that we'll see them revisit if that's a move that they think, because they're going to need to get cash positive quick.
Yeah.
Like they're going to need to make as much money as quickly as they can. So that's the sort of thing I also wonder if we'll see some backslide to that model of the membership subscription service. That's going to be an interesting question.
Or if
it could be that it makes a lot of money and they're going to want to push it more. I just, we don't know the financials on that.
Yeah. Or if it was doing well, we're going to give you, once we're reopened, just to get you in here and get you in a popcorn line, we're going to give you A-List for free for a month for new subscribers or something like that.
Yeah. They suspended it. They suspended, because I'm an A-List member. I think, Dan, you are too. They suspended payment. Like, you don't have to pay for it, obviously, in these few months because you can't go to the movies. So they're also losing revenue even there. I mean, it was the right thing to do because we can't use it right now. But you're right, Joe. If it's something that they believe will help encourage people to get into theaters, they're probably going to make all kinds of deals. But they're probably thinking through like 5-10-year plans from now as well, because there are those shortened windows. Like, how do they radically change? Like, is there a VR, AR experience that becomes part of a premium theatrical experience? Is probably questions that people are asking in the longer term right now too, because just like this is on top of a time period where technological advances in entertainment threaten the theatrical experience. And that's happened again and again and again over time. And over time, movies have found a way to entice people into the theaters. It was CinemaScope, it was color, film, it was things that you just couldn't get at home.
Smeloscope.
And now what?
There's still time for Avatar to save us all. It's still early on in the decade. Say right off this year, part of next year, hell, right off the first 2 years, we still have 3 Avatar sequels coming.
I think we've got more than 3.
4 Avatar sequels coming. 7 Avatar sequels coming.
There are dozens
lift us back out of the darkness.
I mean, a lot of people have suspected for a long time that James Cameron has a Jesus complex. Now he can literally be the savior of the film industry. It's playing right into his hands.
Everyone we've mocked for having a Na'vi tattoo is doing that. The Batman Returns gif with Michael Keaton standing up as the bat signal shines in his face. They're all doing it right now. Avatar's going to save us.
Yeah, they're just, Batman's symbol is now home tree, just lighting up the sky.
Yep, 100%.
Good.
You have to see with other eyes, Jake Sully.
You have to see with better eyes than that. That's actually from The Abyss.
From The Abyss, yes.
Which is great, and I love The Abyss, and I won't hear another word about it.
I mean, Avatar 2 takes place largely underwater. There could be some crossover.
The Camaverse.
Yeah, Camaverse.
Which I'd honestly watch the hell out of. I would so watch a T-1000 just like trucking through a bunch of Na'vi throwing spears at it and just knife farming everybody. I'd watch that movie.
Yeah.
No rhyme or reason, no plot.
You guys mock Cameron, but when he does come in and save this industry, Spencer, you're going to be eating your snarky little words.
I 100% meant that Avatar could save this decade of theater going. I was not kidding.
Okay. Eating it like I eat rice cauliflower, which is a lot, like 3 meals a day right now.
So much rice cauliflower.
So much rice cauliflower right now. We have a lot of fun, entertaining, delightful things to get through today, so do stick with us. This is going to be a good one. I do want to mention one very sad thing, which is that iconic actor Brian Dennehy passed away yesterday of natural causes, and he had such an expansive career. I was thinking about it, like, what would be the one role that I would think of for him, and there's a number of them, but I felt so embarrassed, but the one that's burned into my memory is John Wayne Gacy. But he was such an incredible actor and talent, so I just wanted to take a moment to mention that. All right. Thank you guys so much for liking, subscribing, for sticking with us. It means the world to us. It truly does. We love you. We love being with you during this time. This is like a bright moment of sunshine during my day. And I really appreciate it and appreciate you guys. I appreciate the three of you always. We are also calling out to direct relief, which we've been mentioning, which is helping people, medical workers on the front line of COVID. Description in the box below. There's a little box here. If you're looking down, there's a box below the video that you're looking at. But we also want to say and take the time to say a very special big SJU thank you to Dan Murrell today in particular, for being, Sarah showed up for it. I literally believe that.
She likes Dan.
She likes Dan. She's Dan
of the
fan.
2 cats, Sarah was definitely the one that liked me more.
Yes.
Yeah, she was notably a Dan fan. She is notably a Dan fan and continues to be a Dan fan. So we want to thank you for being a good friend and awesome on camera and a great talent, and such an incredible contributor to Screen Junkies and Fandom and our lives, all of us. We have created some videos of our favorite moments today. There was a little bit of a mix-up with my request for our video, so this one's going to play by itself instead of in the montage. But Dan, I gotta say, people have noted it over time, and it really is true. I love your damn puns. I love them so much. Like, I anticipated them every single review with such delight. So let's take a look at those puns, man. Oh, we can't hear it.
Escape Room opens this weekend, but will it make you want to escape the theater? We'll tell you right here on Screen Junkies News. The latest film in the Conjuring Extended Universe is in theaters now, and we are having none of it. Here's our review. Glass is hitting theaters soon. Is it unbreakable, or did it leave a split? We'll let you know right here on Screen Junkies News. Happy Time Murders is hitting theaters this weekend. We know it's a comedy, but is it heartfelt? We'll tell you right here on Screen Junkies News. The newest movie from Blumhouse, Truth or Dare, is hitting theaters this weekend, but do we dare to tell you the truth about this film? We'll tell you right now. Avengers Endgame is hitting theaters, and we are going to do whatever it takes not to spoil the movie for you in our review.
John Krasinski's A Quiet Place opens up in theaters this weekend, and spoiler alert, it's quiet good.
Game Night's hitting theaters this weekend. Should you roll the dice on Warner Brothers' new comedy? I'll tell you right here on Screen Junkies News. A new movie is opening that features the Grinch, but are critics smiling, or will we all flinch? Roth and I love to do these reviews, so stay tuned right here on Screen Junkies News. The third How to Train Your Dragon film is hitting theaters. Does this franchise still have bite, or is it toothless? I'll let you know right here on Screen Junkies News. Captain Marvel, the latest Marvel film from Marvel Studios, is hitting theaters this weekend, but is it a Marvel or not? We'll tell you right here on Screen Junkies News. Cities are on wheels and mortal engines, but is London calling you to the theater? We'll let you know on Screen Junkies News. The long-awaited feature version of The Dark Tower is hitting theaters this weekend. Is it worth the wait? Probably not. This is Screen Junkies News. Mary Poppins is flying back into theaters. Do we have a review for you? You supercalifragilisticexpialidocious know it. Right here on Screen Junkies News. The Lego Movie 2 is in theaters now. Is everything awesome, or is it time to let go of this franchise? We'll tell you right now on Screen Junkies News.
It's
You love
been
to see
noted,
it.
but I really do giggle a lot.
Oh boy.
All right,
Why
Disney
was
Mark
there
Stamp.
wait?
A couple of those stretch the definition of pun, Dan.
Yeah, yeah. Heartfelt was one I had forgotten
Heartfelt was
about.
great.
He's an innovator.
Bravo.
Oh, thank
Oh
you.
man, I love the puns so much. I love doing reviews with you. I really do. It's been so fun over the years, and we think about films really differently, which I enjoy. I have found that to be really true. Even when we agree about whether something's good or bad, we always have different reasons for why, and that's made it really interesting for me to talk about movies with you, because I always think it's like a little bit reductive just to be like yes or no. What do you
Yes.
see? What are you getting out of it? And we've, I think, enjoyed doing that together. I have
No,
it.
definitely. I've always talked about that's like this weird contradiction for me that Roger Ebert is such an influential thing, critic for me, but at the same time, like he helped pioneer the binary up-down system, not intending, I don't think, to sort of simplify film criticism, because if you read and listen to him, but I think that like I agree with you, like one of the best things that I love doing in reviewing a movie is being able to break stuff down. And like you said, you always were looking at it from a completely different perspective than I was, and it was great to compare notes on a movie, even if we both liked it, just to see where we came from. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I have loved that, and I've been glad that we've been able to do a lot of that here. Worked in this, Sarah agrees. Worked in this field a long time, and you don't always get that, And I don't think any of us went to film school or got in this industry or spent all these years doing this because we just want to say good or bad. So that's been a delight, Dan. Thank you for that, and we love you for that. And we're going to talk about, I want you guys, Joe and Spencer, to be thinking of some of your favorite Dan moments. You just saw some of mine, and we're going to see some more of yours that you suggested in just a little bit. But I also want to give the fans themselves a moment to weigh in. So we have a couple of things that Ryan pulled, and I'm sure there's some things in the chat that are popping in of favorite Dan moments, and we'll see them right here in the comments. I'm sure there'll be hundreds of them, quite frankly, because it's hard to pick. But Chris Connolly says, I salute Dan and thank him for his use of logic. One of my all-time favorite moments was when he spoke of the Sisyphean task of presenting opinions.
It's
which
true.
I think we just talked about.
Not easy on the internet.
If I ever write a book, it's going to be called The Sisyphean Task of Presenting Opinions.
Mine's going to be, I did my time. Kevin Wagner says, hello, SJU. This question is for Dan's last day. Do you think that drive-in movie theaters will make a comeback?
I mean, they're the only ones showing movies right now. There's actually ones quasi-locally here to Los Angeles that's showing films. So I think that certainly they're getting more business now than they might otherwise. I don't know. There's so few of them though. It's not as it's not just simple as going and buying a ticket. You sort of have to plan a whole night around it. So I hope that it revives interest in the drive-ins that are left, because I think it is a really fun and unique way to watch a film. So maybe that'll be one of the few upsides that comes along from this, is that people might rediscover that sort of fun joy of going to see a drive-in and that different sort of experience.
So we're going to have, Lauren K has one more question that we're going to give to Dan, but I wanted to give you, Spencer, and you, Joe, a moment to name a couple of your favorite Dan moments. I know it's hard to pick.
Gosh, I mean, look, there's tons of great moments betwixt Dan and I on a personal level, just shooting the shit in the writer's room. But I mean, it's hard to top getting in a fight with the Gotti movie. I think that is truly. I don't want to say Dan's peak, because he's capable of getting in fights with so many other movies, but I really, really enjoyed that on every possible level. I mean, it was surreal. Dan was in the right, as he always is, and man, they picked a fight with the wrong guy, and they took it to the mats. That's got to be a top 5 Dan moment for me, at least.
He became the Don of film Twitter in that moment.
Yeah.
Right? He became the godfather of film Twitter.
Screen Jockeys, Collider, Jeremy Johns, Red Letter Media, make a fist.
Joe Starr.
Hang on, let me get upstate New York behind me.
Oh boy.
I mean, again, to echo Spencer, I spent the last 5 years, first with you and Spencer in a very small room, hectically writing, and then a slightly larger room with you guys and Lon and Danielle, and then finally a slightly larger room than that with Lon and Danielle and you guys, where Lon actually got a desk. And, so slowly growing. And I look horrifying with upstate New York behind me. So, obviously that day-to-day is going to be intensely missed. But, I think I got to say Scoops. I remember the day Scoops came into my life. It was a joyous day. And that joy has never stopped anytime that he pops up loudly beside me to yell Ming Na. And, Dan, I know that he only comes in to do gigs because you have that close personal connection with him.
That's true.
You know, none of us know the correct Morse code or the number to his burner phone. But you know, he's a great guy. So, you know, I don't mean to just speak highly of an associate of yours instead of just you, but Scoops McGee.
No, that is a relationship that I have also treasured, and I've always gotten a great amount of joy over Scoop's effect on you, Joe, in particular.
Well, you know, let's do Lauren's question. Want to do Lauren's question, Dan, and then maybe I don't know.
Yeah. After Lauren's question, and then Ryan. After this one, I actually sent something into Ryan. So Ryan, after Lauren's question, someone actually sent me something for Joe. So Ryan, can you send that to Joe after this question for him?
Did you Slack it to me or email it to me?
I Slacked it to you. It should be in your Slack.
So
in our DMs, I DM'd you the little comment for Joe to read.
Yeah, he slipped right into your DMs, and maybe, I don't know, maybe Joe will have a nice Friday. Lauren K says, sorry if this has already been asked, but since Roth, Joe, and Dan have cats, and Dan is such a fan of cats, what are your favorite movie or TV cats? Oh, Dan, this has got to be a little bit of a Sophie's choice for you.
Oh, man.
There's so many
movie
cats.
or TV cats.
Yeah, this is tough. I learned a cat fact while
Spot, Data's cat Spot.
Mm-hmm.
Very realistic picture of what it's like to own a cat. So for the realism, I think I might have to say Spot, the cat from Star Trek: The Next Generation.
All right, very, very good. Spot the cat, Joe Starr, Catman Joe. Did you
guys know that Nermal is a boy cat from Garfield?
That blew my mind.
Yeah.
That blew my mind. Yeah. That shook me up. I mean, Heathcliff probably has like the sickest theme song, so you know that gives him a solid point. You know, the SWAT cats had the most mystique and like a jet, so you know that makes them pretty cool. But also, you know, there's that Godfather fat cat from Chippendale Rescue Rangers. So I mean, you know, there's just so many. How do you even begin to pick?
There are many cats, but Joe, did you get a Slack message?
Yeah, Joe, did you get? There's a comment for you to read. Did you get it in Slack?
Let me open my Slack. Oh yeah. Hang on. Let me read this. In a world of nonstop news and information, sometimes hard to know who to trust. But into every generation, a scoopster is born. And if this intro makes me cry, I'm going to be very mad at you, Dan. Armed with only the best scoops, he will rise to meet the challenge of being the Hollywood Insider's insider. That's why I'm very proud to welcome to the show the man with the best scoops in town. His name is Scoops McGee.
Oops!
Wait, really?
Whoa! It's like Christmas.
There he is.
Scoops, where you at?
Are you in the temple from the Fifth Element?
Your
Scoops
press
McGee?
card. Oh no, we can't hear Scoops.
Scoops, we can't hear you, but it looks like you're in a sauna of some sort.
Scoops, you're muted.
Scoops, you gotta unmute. Unmute the Scoops. Don't silence Scoops.
Yeah.
Scoops is being silenced.
Liberate Scoops. Liberate Scoops.
Oh no.
Hello.
Oh, there he is.
Oh my God, this setup here is awful. It's atrocious. The keying is bad in this where I am. I'm half put together. This is crazy. This quarantine has gone nuts. I'm Scoops McGee here reporting live from the steam room at new/former Disney CEO Bob Chapek's gym, where I've been trapped since California's safer at home order was issued last month. I was looking for scoops, but now I'm in my own personal prison instead of the actual prison I'm going to be going to when this is all over. Nevertheless, I'm filled to the brim with two things: juicy scoops and Isopure protein powder. My muscles are strong, but I haven't pooped in 17 days.
Good.
Sorry, it's been a while. It's been a very long time, I know, since I've been on the show. I spent the last few months of 2019 tracking down some hot Avatar scoops in China's Hubei province. Luckily, I made it back to the U.S. for Christmas, and even though I was feeling a little under the weather, I still managed to do my annual New Year's tradition of visiting all 50 U.S. states. So I'm charged up and ready to give you the latest scoops.
Thank
Are you ready
Scoops.
for it?
Oh, yeah.
We're very
Definitely.
ready.
First scoop. Tiger King fling takes wing. The entire country has been brought together by Netflix's Tiger King, but my sources tell me that 2 of the real-life subjects of the show have gotten much closer since the hit show's debut. I can reveal exclusively that tiger preservationist Carol Baskin has joined the harem of Bassavand Doc Antle at his South Carolina Zoo of Horrors. But wait! I can further reveal that both of them have now legally married the Tiger King himself, Joe Exotic, and 3 of his best tigers in an attempt to create a hellish human-animal hybrid race that will rise up to take its rightful place to usurp the human race and take control of the dark dystopian future that's unfolding in front of our eyes. I don't know about you, but I, for one, welcome our new tiger human overlords. All hail the Tigrina! Look on their forms and despair!
That's a good scoop.
Was that too much? Did you
Listen,
want another
that was a
scoop?
great scoop.
Oh, I got more scoops for you. You ready for this one? Get ready. Get ready. The keying is so bad in this steam room. Okay. Quibi Bites takes flights. After a shaky launch, Quibi is planning to come out swinging with its next batch of short shows before it collapses like a dying star and goes bankrupt. The new lineup includes a series of super expensive projects that are sure to please no one, including a $150 million shot-for-shot remake of Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern, featuring the same actors, but also the same script. A reality show starring Saoirse Ronan, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Precious's Gabourey Sidibe, and Lost Adewale Akintoye Agbaze called Hey America, Pronounce This! Green Book, The Lost Journeys, featuring the bite-sized journeys you didn't see in the Oscar-winning film, which consists mainly of Mahershala Ali silently pretending not to see or hear Viggo Mortensen's constant farting. And a revival of UPN's 1998 sitcom The Secret Diary of Desmond Pfeiffer to make Green Book look better. Look it up. My insiders tell me that these moves are sure to extend Quibi's life by 5 to 10 minutes, which should be all the time Jeffrey Katzenberg needs to safely flee the country. All right, I saved the hottest scoop for last. Are you ready?
Ooh.
This is a juicy scoop, and I know it's been a while, but I think this was going to be worth it. Ready? Flash wants to make Dash for cash. Ooh.
Oh.
You've all seen the video of Flash actor Ezra Miller's encounter with a fan in Reykjavik, Iceland, but what you don't know is that this is just the latest effort by Miller to speed force his way out of the superhero role to greener pastures. My tipsters say that Miller's previous attempts include starting false rumors of an alleged Snyder Cut, swatting Ben Affleck's house, and mistakenly attempting to enlist Jamie Foxx's TV game show Beat Shazam to cause grievous bodily harm to Zachary Levi. Apparently, Miller believes his future lies in solo spin-off projects from his own filmography, including movies like We Still Need to Talk About Kevin, Trainwreck, The Rise of Donald, and Two Perks, Two Wallflowers. Now, I don't usually editorialize on these kind of things, but come on, Ez. I get wanting to scratch that itch, but you choose now to leave the security of a long-term job with a proven team to try a solo venture in the middle of a global pandemic and amid an uncertain future? What kind of moron does something like that? Good luck.
Come on, Ez.
Guys, that's all the scoops I have for now, and you may not see me for a while because after this lockdown lifts, I'm going to be hot on the trail of some juicy Disney scoops and definitely not serving 3 consecutive sentences in Sing Sing or potentially starting a global pandemic. But always remember, Scoops McGee might be gone, but my intellectual property will stay here forever. Goodbye!
Thank you, Scoops. Thank you, Scoops.
Bye, Scoops.
Oh, boy.
Liberate
I think
Scoops.
that was officially my favorite Dan moment, Scoops moment.
Scoops is still there.
Yeah,
Scoops, get out of here.
It's a little bit and indelicate of me to say that that's my. I have to agree with Joe. Like I feel kind of like a jerk saying that's my favorite Dan moment when in fact it was Scoops. It's just so nice that Dan was able to bring Scoops into our collective lives and to bless us with his knowledge. I would say his wisdom, his insight into the industry, his ability to cipher through trash, and really just, as we've seen, sweat it out. I think that his ability to remain calm under pressure. Oh, Dan's back.
Oh,
Dang,
Jack,
you
what
missed
did I?
Scoops.
Sorry, I had to step away for a second. Did I miss anything?
No.
Scoops
not a
dropped
damn
by,
thing.
actually.
Yeah.
Me and that guy, we are always.
So weird. Like
You're
two ships
never
in the
going to be
night.
able to have coffee with him.
like two phantom ships.
We're never gonna have our donut.
But Scoops did send in an email along with several of the people that love you very much, including the humans above us right now, Spencer and Joe. And we have a little bit of a sizzle reel of the best of Dan that we're going to play right now.
Thank you.
Spoilers.
Hear it.
Hal's just saying something funny here.
Yeah.
Hi,
We'll
we're
try that
back.
one more
That
time.
was really the best.
That's
I-
the
yeah,
best
it was
of
the
Dan.
best. It was
Oh,
the
I'll never
best.
Pete,
forget that
what
moment.
happened?
I'll never forget that
great.
time.
And this man needs no introduction, so we're not going to give him one. Dan Murrell! Oh, yeah!
It literally just says he's Dan on this piece of paper. That's the only thing we need to know.
When I saw this question, I thought about it for a while. I jockeyed a few names around, and then it came to me like a lightning bolt, and I realized this is the only answer to this question that I could possibly fight.
Okay.
And that is John Wick.
I mean, I picked The Dark Knight, but I'm actually going to go with Avengers.
I picked a film that I grew up calling Star Wars. South Park, bigger, longer, and uncut. Aaron Eckhart, to quote him from The Dark Knight, once said, "You either die a hero or you live long enough to become the villain." And that's what I think of every time I think of my pick for the dumbest movie ever made. The fourth film in the Jaws franchise, Jaws the Revenge. This time, it's personal. Cavity the Mystery Cat, who we talked about on the show before.
So she has a song that introduces somebody else.
That appears to be the main function for almost every Cats character that I've researched so far.
That's a tough pitch to make to Taylor Swift. Your big song, and he's going to be introducing that guy.
Well, she is a key role. See, here's the thing. She may not have a lot of character. She may have less characterization. She's kind of flirty. Mm-hmm. The male cat's lover.
Sure.
She's kind of, they call her the bombshell cat.
Bombalurina.
Bombalurina. But she
go.
may have less character-wise than someone like an old Deuteronomy, perhaps. But she's a key role because not only is she key in introducing Macavity the Mystery Cat, she's key in introducing Grisabella. She's key in introducing Bustopher Jones. She's key in Rum Tum Tugger's introduction. From what I've been able to gather, this entire show is only songs introducing other cats.
Right.
And then something happens and it's over. Okay, Trevor, put the toys down. And sit down for a second. We're gonna watch a movie. This is a movie about a kid, a lot like you, who you know what, you think your life sucks. You know what? She does too. And she gets whisked away to this land. There is brightness, there's music, there's joy, and if you don't like those things, then you're gonna learn how to like them. And by the way, you little booger, you need to learn a little something about movies too. So you're gonna sit down and you're gonna watch one of the best movies ever made. You've seen Harry Potter 15 times already. I'm gonna show you one of the great movies ever made. And this is a movie that everyone should see. And I guarantee you, any kid, and I'm including you, Trevor, is gonna like this movie because this is a timeless classic movie and it doesn't age. And I'm not just addressing Trevor now, I'm addressing society. Because I don't do so great with the bits, Hal. I just like to talk about how great these movies are and why The Wizard of Oz is peerless. There is a thing called geography, Spencer. But before we go, we've been doing our countdown,
Maybe.
to New Mutants.
Well, the real answer is that Disney wins the box office in 2015. They're going to make about $3 billion.
Ridiculous.
Okay. Let's talk about Star Wars for a second.
Let's talk about Star Wars.
Let's talk about Star Wars.
Yes.
Well,
Can I speak about Jaws the Revenge a little bit? First, I brought charts. Let's look at the top per theater. Those two things are facts. And there's a lot of other numbers that people can use to try to detract from that or spin the narrative away from that. But if you take anything away from this video, it would be please, 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 if somebody tells you something, including me, don't just take it at face value. Look into it. Look who's telling you. Look where they're coming from. Look what else they've said. And look where that data came from. And make up your own mind and confirm it for yourself.
Oh.
Thank you. When I look back on my time, I will always remember, really, it's 7.5 years of yelling at a hypothetical child is really, that does sum up my time very succinctly here.
I mean, that's the job.
That's the job, really.
Yeah.
I loved the last bit. I think it's good advice in general, right? But like that was Captain Marvel, right?
That
That
was,
the
yeah,
Captain
that's the little thing I did about Captain Marvel. Yeah.
Yeah, that was really one of my favorite moments.
Thank you.
Truly.
Well, Dan's always fought the good fight. Especially with that kind of thing, just facts and common sense, and the internet could use a little more of that. So good on you.
Agreed. One of the greatest things that I appreciate about you. So, with that in mind, we're going to go to a segment I like to call an epic 4-minute movie fight. We are going to do, it could be 5 minutes. So this is going to be the movie fight of movie fights, but it's going to be between Spencer, Joe, and Dan, and you, the people, are going to vote for the winner in the comments, and Ryan's going to tell me who won this movie fight. And the question, ladies and gentlemen, is what is the greatest honest trailer of all time? And we are going to start with you, Dan.
Man, great. The GOAT honest trailer. There's a lot of different possibilities there, but I think if we're talking the combination of everything, I've got to go Deadpool, because we were able to not just get Ryan Reynolds, but I think we wrote something that was actually fitting for the movie. We were able to make fun of the movie at the same time as like bringing somebody of that caliber in that we'd never had before to do an honest trailer. I think it's the balance of what we're capable of doing, which is we can make fun of a movie, but we can also sort of, we make fun of ourselves in that trailer as well as the follow-up that we did for Deadpool 2, but that doesn't count because it's just one trailer. I think that really was a great example of what we're able to do when we're critiquing a movie. We can also tie into the movie in a really fun way and a really unique way. When I look back at all of the years, like my favorite, I think, will always be Les Miserables. But when I look back at what we're able to do, Deadpool for me was one where we just were able to really get what we were going for. I really, really like that trailer a lot.
Spencer, counter argument.
Gosh, well, if I'm gonna self-allow this, because I'm just gonna say Doctor Who, classic and modern, because we did them at the same time and they could have been one video. It was just so long that we split it into two. That was, I don't want to oversell this, but that was basically like building the pyramids. We all labored so long and so arduously, and for a generous donation from Laura, I think gave
Laura,
one, and yet if you do the math, it was far less than minimum wage for all of us to watch all of Doctor Who, modern and classic, to just absorb years and years and hours and hours and hours of this super beloved show. We had to split it up among like 5 or 6 different people, coordinate all of our notes, have these like shared methods of tracking things, and the edit process took forever and all of that. And then to come out with a thing. I know it's like a funny show, like a quirky, funny show, but I've also found that Doctor Who fans are largely humorless people. So to put something out that then pleased them, and they were like, you got me. That's pretty good. That's true. Can't argue with you there. Was something that I think I am the most proud of that we've accomplished. And I think it came out really funny to fans and non-fans alike. And for that show and that scope, I think is the best thing we've done.
So audience, again, it is up to you who wins this fight, but as a neutral observer, Dan's winning. Joe Starr, would you like to?
Son of a bitch. Spencer took mine. I'm going to argue, as I real quick look at the list of honest trailers that we've ever made. I'm going Boss Baby.
Yeah.
The honest trailer for Boss Baby.
We did an honest trailer for Boss Baby?
Yeah, we did, man.
Hell yeah.
I think
weird movie.
There's such a, again, I think when we put out an honest trailer, people are always like, you went real soft on this, or you ate this one's butt, or whatever. And it's like, it's not roast trailers. That's the first thing I learned when, I joined up, and I was like, man, this movie, blah, blah, blah. And Spencer was like, these are great roast battle jokes, but that's not what the show is. It's honest. And I think Boss Baby is the perfect balance of, this movie is bad, but it's also intriguing, and it's also bizarre and confusing, and bewildering, and oh God, suddenly we like it. And I think there's a full arc on theories and opinions of Boss Baby in that Honest trailer, and I think that one is just such a great showcase of like what the show is. And also the first one on the list that stood out to me, and I didn't want to burn 5 minutes of airtime by just scrolling our Wikipedia.
Fair.
You guys have 2 minutes to fight it out, and then the fans are going to have their say.
Yes, Joe, the only thing I don't like about Boss Baby is it's one that we have to sort of waste a lot of time describing Boss Baby, which usually isn't as funny, but you need to get the audience on the same page of how insane Boss Baby is. So a lot of it is just describing the film Boss Baby.
And yet
which I think is like a worthy endeavor, but is not our best work.
And yet the great thing about structure, Spencer, is those beautiful moments when you get to break it. Just, and that is one of the great moments where we get to break structure of Honest trailers and just go, okay, pause. We need to explain this to you because it's insane.
I think the best time we did that was Jupiter Ascending. And then to Dan's point, look, Deadpool's amazing. The Honest trailer is incredible. How much of that can we really take credit for? And how much of that is just the gift of Canada's own Ryan Reynolds?
We can take credit for a lot of it. We wrote the words. He didn't write those words. We wrote those words.
That's true. I wrote Rhythm Nation era Janet Jackson on a piece of paper.
Boss Baby. I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell you a joke that we had in it. I'm sure it was a lovely trailer. I just can't remember a thing about it. And Doctor Who, I mean, I was responsible for about half of it. I was responsible for the classic Doctor Who. And you know, we're talking greatest trailer of all time. Listen, I'll admit it. I was on autopilot down toward the end of that. I was kind of over it. I was just like, let's just string some funny clips of robots together and call it a day. It had been months of my time at that point, and I probably could have done better on that classic section. So I don't think that was the pinnacle of what we could do. Deadpool was the ability to bring in a celebrity cameo, to critique the movie, to make fun of it, to make fun of ourselves. It was everything that I think that we can do, all wrapped into one little package. Wonderful little package. It did well. It performed well. I'm sticking with my choice. I'm sticking with Deadpool.
All right, guys.
And Daleks are not robots. I'm going to get dinged on that. I know that they're not robots. It was a general sweeping term. I'm going to fact check myself. I know.
No, correction, Dan. They are not real. They're made up.
I saw one on Twitter.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah,
I know. There's the little Krang thing stuffed into the trash can. We all saw that episode.
All right, you got. Hang on. Ryan's getting me the results right now. It's coming in hot, ladies and gentlemen, from the chat. The winner of this movie fight is. I see him typing. It's Dan.
Rigged.
Rigged.
Hashtag
rigged.
I can screen cap it for you. That's what the chat said. Check the tape.
Chat's rigged.
Check the tape, ladies and gentlemen.
I was polling for Joe, but yeah, it was Dan.
Dan makes it once again, remains the once and ever champion of movie fights. Thank you, Dan, for being with us today. Thank you for lending us your humor and your insight, and your commitment to facts and integrity. It really has been. I've learned a ton. I've enjoyed working with you. I've loved doing movie reviews with you. That's been one of my very, very favorite aspects of this job. So thank you so much for that. We believe in you. We support you. We know you're going to do great. And we will be there to watch it and support all of it. I guess I'm speaking for everybody, but it's true. Everybody feels that way. And yeah, it really, honestly, it's sad. It's sad, but I know you're going to do great. And I really have enjoyed that. So thank you. Spencer, Joe.
Yeah, Dan, achieve your final form. Become the Walter Cronkite of movie YouTube journalism that we all know you can be. And don't forget where you came from.
Never.
I'm also excited to watch you turn into Raichu. I also have a quote that I've been thinking about since we knew you were leaving. And it's from Tim from the Superior BBC office. The people we work with are people you were just thrown together with. I mean, you don't know them. It wasn't your choice. And yet you spend more time with them than you do your friends or your family. But probably all you have in common is the fact that you walk around on the same bit of carpet for 8 hours a day. So thank you for sharing that bit of carpet with us, brother. And good luck with what you're doing. You're going to kill it. It's going to be amazing. Excited to watch.
Dan, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, I mean, it's always interesting when people are like, oh, what do you do? Or they like, oh, how did you get to do what you do? And it's always like a 15-minute story with like twists and turns. There's like a 3-act structure. It's been this insane ride starting with Hal, the same day that Hal started with the Screen Junkie show and coming in 2 days a week to do that to what it's turned into. I honestly never would have seen it coming. I never would have planned this path for myself. I will always count myself lucky and fortunate, and just it's been it's 7.5 years, but it feels like it went by like that, and sometimes it feels like it was an eternity. It's this weird thing that happens, but through it all is, we started out kind of, the early days, it was all kind of segmented. Everybody sort of had their role, and one of my favorite evolutions about what's happened is that we congealed into this team, and I cannot imagine ever working with a better team of people. I think that the team that you guys are and that I will miss working with is one of the best teams I've uh, ever seen. Not just that I've worked with it, ever seen together. The stuff that you guys are capable of making and producing on short notice, the stuff that we've asked guys like Max and Billy and Ryan, our producers, and Emin and Kevin in post, David and Logan on the social team, like not just the ones that everyone sees, but behind the scenes, the stuff that we've asked everyone to produce sometimes, and the quality and the how quick it comes together, like, never ceases to amaze me, and that will be 100% what I miss the most about doing this. It's Screen Junkies will always be a part of me. I will be very happy at any time you guys want me to come by, like, not even on the air, just come say hi. I joked with Danielle Radford and Lon also, who have been additions to our writing teams that have been amazing lately. I joked with Danielle last night that at a certain point I'm going to crash through the windows John McClane style with numbers and sandwiches just to hang out. But this has been, like, seriously the honor and the ride of a lifetime, and it's a new chapter. Roxy always yells at me for not plugging anything, so I actually have something to plug for once. But I'll be launching my channel soon. YouTube.com/Dan Murrell Movies. You can find it there. People have been really supportive so far, but the DNA of Screen Junkies will always be with me and in my heart, and in everything that I do going forward, and the opportunities that I've had to work with you guys and everyone else has been incredible. So, thank you guys for everything, and the entire team. It's been just really an amazing thing to be a part of. To go from 100,000, I think less than when I started working there, to building now with everyone there almost 7 million people subscribing has been insane. And I realize it's something that I'm probably not going to be able to replicate again, but I'm going to do my best. And thank you guys. I love all you guys. And, don't be a stranger, and I won't be either.
We won't. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, guys. Thank you for watching. And we will be back Monday. And we love you a lot.